So Jared, the first question
I don't want to do it. I like to quit right now. I did my teaser thing.
Yeah.
Got so disgusted by just the cringiness of it. I'd like to file my papers to be removed from consideration.
You can't quit. You're starting this.
All right.
Where am I going to find another guy named
You can
Jared?
borrow the studio. Anybody. Just go grab anybody.
Well, there's Subway, Jared, but I don't think we want him on the show.
I think maybe I'm just a little better than Subway Jared, hopefully.
So, what feedback? So you asked me this, but what feedback have you gotten so far? I know you've sent the link for our teaser to friends and family. So, what are people asking you about the pod, or what are they telling you about the podcast?
My mom loves it.
Of course.
I've got all the support in the world from my mom. No, my family has been very sweet about it. And I've, just like you said, I've only had positive feedback, which I think it's probably because it's our close friends and family who have kind of, it's been trickled to, and of course they're just nice people. I think at some point we will get some criticism, and I think that'll be good if we choose to take it to make us better. There'll be some criticism that we just need to blow off because there's just some kind of jerks in the world. So who cares about them? No, I'm just kidding. Feedback's been good. I had, if I can share a little bit, I had my sister reach out to me and shared that there was a member of their family who lately has been struggling with fitting in. And my sister shared this with her, and the response I got back from my sister was she sees this literally as an answer to a prayer. So obviously she said, thank you so much for sending this. What you guys are doing will be really impactful. And she considers this an answer to a prayer. So that just felt real heavy to me, heavy with responsibility, I guess. And in the back of our minds, you and I really do. That's our ultimate goal, is to reach out to those people and let them know that they aren't alone in some of their struggles they have with church culture or church doctrine or whatever it is. They just don't know where to fit. They don't know to go against it because they don't want to offend anybody or offend God.
Sure.
But they don't know how to reconcile those things. And this podcast is not about us telling them how to do that at all. It's just letting them know that other people feel that way, and let's get it out in the open a little bit and talk about it. And we're not going to have answers, and that's not what this is about. It's just us being willing to kind of bring those things up that everyone knows, kind of feels about, but is kind of taboo a little bit to talk about. So that's one, I guess, specific piece of feedback we've had that really affected me, and it's making me want to continue to push, even if it's just for that one person.
So you asked me what excited me the most about the podcast. What scares you the most about our podcast?
Yeah, so I'll share some other feedback with you.
Sure.
And this was good feedback, but I had this sister who said, I like it. My concern is, she's regarding the teaser thing that we recorded. My concern is that you're kind of letting people know it's okay to do those things or to not try to be better. I guess it's almost like you guys are enforcing that those things that aren't the best things are okay. I guess I'm probably complicating it more than it really needs to be, but the concern is that that is what is interpreted, that we are just kind of hashing out some fun, things about church culture that are easy to make fun of,
Sure.
but are saying that, don't keep the Sabbath day holy and eat and drink whatever you want. And I don't know, but my concern is it being misinterpreted. And also, of course, I think both of our concern is crossing this line between talking about some of the church culture things that we feel could be changed or could be better, and at the same time not being critical of the church itself. And we will never be critical of the gospel. we know the gospel is true. I think we're aware that the church is administered by human beings, imperfect,
Yes.
near perfect. And so some of the things that people get kind of worked up over it's usually by the unintentional consequences of a church member who just got it wrong,
Sure.
gave wrong advice, represented something incorrectly, and it's not the gospel. So I don't know what the question was. I don't know what I'm talking about.
What scares you the most?
Oh, that scares me. That scares me that we're going to get our temple recommends repealed.
All right, so we're gonna play out a scenario real quick. You're on death row. They knock
Sure.
on your cell. It's your last meal. What do you order?
Well, first of all, this will happen. I know it's a hypothetical, but there's no doubt that this will be a real scenario.
Okay, so real quick, we have to unpack that. What is the crime that gets you on death row, sir?
I haven't decided yet. I have a handful that if I just want to go a certain way in life, then I'm going to go hard.
Yeah.
And there'll be a path of destruction.
Yeah, you could write all these plans on darts, throw them at a wall, whatever sticks.
Sure, exactly.
Okay. But
So
your
my last meal. Oh man, my last meal. I think I'm gonna request one plate of homemade chicken enchiladas from my mother, one plate of homemade hash brown casserole from my mother-in-law, and then one cheesecake for my wife. Can I have all those things?
Yeah, it's your last meal.
Yeah, and then maybe a cheesy gordita on the side.
Yeah, I noticed you didn't ask for my brisket. Nope.
I didn't know I had that option. I don't want to, what's the word? Play favorites.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah,
don't want to skew the
that
thing.
makes sense. No, that's great. So, what are you hoping this podcast accomplishes? Like, when let's say we run it and we end it and we're done and we hang our hats on it, what are you hoping we're hanging our hats on with this?
I hope that we affected at least one person. We gave one person some comfort that they're not alone in what they're struggling with. And I think you and I talked, if we just affect one person, if we can bring something to that one person, then this is all worth it. It's all worth it. And at the end of it, I think as well, you and I will both have something to look back on. And 20, 30 years from now, maybe we're struggling. Now we have record of what we felt and what we talked about at that time that we can look back on. I think it's important that our family sees it, and to know that my children and your children will have this too, I think is potentially huge as well. But what was the question? I think, to me, it kind of feels like there, especially for the younger people in the church right now, there's this pulling away, I guess. I'm not sure if you've seen it or if you felt it, but to me, it feels like there's kind of our young people and, 20-somethings, early 30s, there's this pulling away from the church. And I don't think they really understand the gospel. And I think a lot of things are getting turned up with the culture, or with political stuff bleeding over, or with this idea of, nobody can really tell me who I am. I get to figure that on my own, and there's just this confusion. And I think that I want to reach out to those people, and maybe you and I, being the goofballs that we are, maybe we're a little more approachable. And we're not old men with white hair yet, preaching to them. We're morons, with the occasional good style from our wives' help. And I think we're more approachable, and I want to connect with those people. and just say, the gospel is true. Just hang on. Remember that the church has been restored, but it's not finished being restored. The restoration is still continuing. There'll still be changes in the church. There have been changes in the church since it was first restored. So be patient. The Lord understands what's in your heart and the things you're struggling with. The apostles and the prophet are working hard to understand what our young people are struggling with, and they're trying to commune with the Lord. It's happening, but you have to be patient and just stick with it. Just keep going. Keep going. If you don't want to serve, fine. Just get your butt to sacrament and just keep trying. And that's, I think, ultimately what I want to connect with
Sure.
for the people that are listening.